All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at San Bernardino's Chinatown.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and we've got a really cool YouTube video we're going to be checking out that was just recently uploaded. Looks like 2024.
Okay.
And it's by a local historian who actually goes to the site of this lost Chinatown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he walks through like a park and shows you like, this is where this building stood 100 years ago.
That's amazing.
No, it's so cool. It really is like stepping into a time machine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that fascinates me the most about history is, we walk through these places all the time and we have no idea what happened there.
Exactly. Like right now, it's just a park, but it used to be this thriving community.
Right.
So our video kind of kicks things off by taking us back to like the 1850s, 1860s, the gold rush era.
Mm-hmm.
And tons of Chinese immigrants were coming to California, looking for work, hoping to strike it rich.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that a lot of them faced, really harsh discrimination when they got here.
Oh, absolutely.
They were excluded from a lot of industries, and there were even laws specifically targeting them, like the foreign miners tax.
Wow. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was a really difficult time for the Chinese community, and that's part of what led to the development of these Chinatowns all across the state,
Like they were forced to create their own spaces to survive.
Exactly. It wasn't just about preserving their culture, although that was a big part of it.
Right.
It was also about, economic necessity.
Yeah. So in this video, the historian actually refers to San Bernardino's Chinatown as like a city within a city.
That's a great way to put it.
So I'm curious, what did that actually look like? Like what kind of businesses and things would you find there?
Well, you would have had, all sorts of shops and businesses, restaurants, laundries, herbalists, anything you could imagine. You'd probably find it there.
Wow. So they really did have everything they needed.
Pretty much. They even had their own systems of governance, because they were often excluded from the wider city services.
Like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. And in this video, he points out some spots where, there used to be a whole row of houses here or a temple there. It's really fascinating to see.
I mean, just imagine the resilience it took to build a whole community from scratch like that, facing all that adversity.
Absolutely. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, this is one part in the video that I thought was really interesting. He's walking through the park, and he comes across this little stream.
Okay.
And he's like, I wonder if this is connected to hot springs that are nearby.
Interesting.
And it makes you wonder if maybe the people who lived in Chinatown used that water source,
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Communities often developed around natural resources like that, and hot springs would have been valuable for, all sorts of reasons.
Totally. And it just shows how, like, even something as simple as a stream can hold all this hidden history. But sadly, this Chinatown didn't last forever. The historian mentions that it thrived from the 1860s to the early 1900s, and then poof,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, what happened?
Right. So I'm curious, what factors do you think might have led to its decline?
Well, there were probably a lot of things going on, like economically speaking, the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 really reduced the demand for Chinese labor.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and, combined with the ongoing discrimination and those exclusionary laws that we talked about, it just made it harder and harder for Chinese businesses to thrive.
Yeah, definitely. And our historian also points out that a huge fire ripped through the Chinatown in the 1920s.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it destroyed a massive portion of it, and then whatever was left was likely just torn down, And the county ended up buying the land.
It's really sad. It's like this whole community was just erased.
I know. It's almost like a mystery waiting to be solved.
Yeah, you have these glimpses into this vibrant community, and then it's just gone.
Exactly. But thankfully, it sounds like archaeologists are starting to piece together some of the missing pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The historian mentions an excavation that happened right on the site of the former Chinatown. And get this, what they found was pretty amazing.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Amazing might be an understatement. They found a privy, like an outhouse.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
An outhouse. That doesn't sound too exciting.
Right, but hold on, it gets way cooler.
Okay, I'm listening.
So archaeologists call these things middens, and they're like little time capsules, packed with everyday objects.
Oh, I see.
And this particular midden, well, it was full of treasure. They found over 1,300 Chinese coins in there.
Ooh, 1,300 coins. That's insane. The historian said it's like the biggest collection of Chinese coins ever found in the U.S.
It's really remarkable.
So what can these coins tell us about the people who lived in this Chinatown,
Well, first of all, they help us pinpoint the dates.
Yeah.
really confirm when the Chinatown was active. But it goes way beyond that. The types of coins, the materials they used, even little markings on them. They can reveal so much about trade networks, economic activity, even cultural practices.
Wow, so it's like each coin is a little window into the past.
Exactly. And they're not just objects,
Yeah.
They're tangible connections to the people who lived here.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Just imagine holding a coin that someone in San Bernardino's Chinatown might have used over 100 years ago.
I know. It's mind-blowing. And by studying these coins, we can really start to reconstruct the stories of these individuals and the community they were a part of.
So like we could figure out where the coins came from.
Yeah, exactly. We might be able to trace them back to specific regions in China or even other parts of the world. It tells us about their trade routes and connections.
Wow, so it's like each coin is a tiny piece of a much larger puzzle.
Exactly. And by putting those pieces together, we can start to see the bigger picture of life in this lost Chinatown.
That's so cool. You know, it's amazing to me how much information we can get from something as simple as an outhouse.
Right. It makes you wonder what else might be buried out there, just waiting to be discovered.
Seriously. Like, what other artifacts could be hidden beneath the surface?
Who knows? We could find ceramics tools, building fragments, even written documents. Things that could shed light on daily life, social interactions, the challenges they faced. It's all out there.
That's so exciting. You know, we've been talking a lot about like the physical stuff, the buildings and objects. But what about the people themselves? Like, what do we actually know about their lives, their stories?
Yeah, that's a great question. Unfortunately, historical records about individual residents are often pretty sparse, especially for marginalized communities.
That makes sense.
But there are ways to piece together some insights, through things like census data, newspaper articles, oral histories.
Oh, yeah. The historian mentioned finding a few old newspaper articles about the Chinatown.
Oh, really? What do they say?
Well, one of them described this big parade they had for Chinese New Year.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? Like this lively, colorful procession right here in San Bernardino?
That's amazing. It really reminds us that these were real people, with rich traditions, hopes, and dreams, just like anyone else.
And that they were determined to hold on to their culture despite everything they were going through.
Absolutely. Events like the New Year Parade show their strength and resilience,
Yeah.
their desire to maintain their identity in the face of adversity.
It makes me wonder if there were any descendants of these early Chinatown residents still living in the area.
Oh, that's a fascinating thought.
Like, what if they have stories that have been passed down through their families?
It's definitely possible. And those oral histories are so valuable, They can fill in those gaps left by the official records.
It would be incredible to hear those firsthand accounts.
Yeah. Reaching out to the community and gathering their stories could reveal perspectives and details that we wouldn't find anywhere else.
Seriously.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive has just opened my eyes to how much history is hidden all around us.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, what other stories are just waiting to be unearthed right in our own backyards?
Yeah. You never know. History isn't just confined to textbooks and museums,
Yeah.
It's all around us, woven into the fabric of our communities.
You just have to take the time to look for it.
Exactly.
You know, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that this ordinary park was once like the heart of this bustling Chinatown.
It really is. It makes you realize that, history isn't just something that happened a long time ago.
Right.
It's still present today, shaping the world around us.
Totally.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive has got me wanting to like explore my own local history.
Oh, that's great. I encourage you to do it.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you find.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some fascinating stories hidden right here in my neighborhood.
I bet there are. Talk to some longtime residents, visit the local museums, check out the historical archives.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's like going on a treasure hunt.
It is. Except the treasure is, knowledge and a deeper understanding of where you come from.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking a lot about San Bernardino's Chinatown, but this story feels like it's about way more than just one place.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. The experiences of this Chinese community, they reflect a much broader pattern,
Yeah.
of immigration, adaptation, and resilience.
Right. And not just in the American West, but all over the world.
Exactly. It's a reminder that history is full of these untold stories, especially when it comes to marginalized communities.
And it's up to us to seek those stories out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to amplify those voices that have been silenced or overlooked.
By learning about these hidden histories, we challenge our own assumptions. We get a broader understanding of the past.
And a more nuanced perspective on the present.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive into San Bernardino's lost Chinatown, what's like the one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Hmm. I think the most important thing to remember is that history is a journey of discovery.
Yeah.
You know, there's always more to learn, more to uncover, more perspectives to consider.
And it's a journey we can all be a part of.
Exactly. Right? In our own communities.
Well said. And on that note, we hope this episode has inspired you to explore the hidden histories all around you.
Happy exploring.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.